Amazon Web Services, or AWS, the $80 billion global cloud services arm of e-commerce giant Amazon, is planning to invest $12.7 billion in India in order to expand and strengthen its cloud infrastructure by 2030. We discussed AWS's plan for India with Global Chief Executive Adam Silipsky, who shared his vision and outlook for the hyperscalers' growth trajectory in the country. Here's an excerpt of what he told us. Can you take us through some of the highlights of your investments in India?
Maybe we'll just back up for a second. We've already, between 2016 and 2022, AWS invested $3.7 billion in India. A lot of that was around our first big infrastructure region or big set of data centers in Mumbai. And so on top of the 3.7 billion, as you just referenced, we are announcing that we plan to invest an additional $12.7 billion in our local cloud infrastructure in India by the year 2030. And so what that'll be cumulatively is $16.4 billion invested in India by AWS. And we're very pleased with that. We're very excited by that. The economic estimate is that it'll add over $23 billion to the India GDP by 2030. And so we think that's substantial, and we're really excited for that.
How has AWS partnered with the Indian government?
We're working with all of the digital pillars of the country, and many of them are being built on AWS. The digital locker is built on AWS. The CoWIN COVID solution was built entirely on AWS, all the way from registration to appointment scheduling to identity verification, the actual vaccinations themselves, to certification of each person, really encompassing an end-to-end workflow, incredibly important. And over 10 million people per day were being vaccinated through the CoWIN application. And we're very privileged to be a part of that solution that obviously was so important for the country. We understand the digital transformation that's happening before everybody's eyes in India, and we realize our pivotal role in helping to enable that and helping our customers to drive the innovation that they're looking for.
Can you also talk about your strategic partnerships with enterprises in India?
India has absolutely remained incredibly energized, high growth. It's been a great area for us. And we really see the digital innovation proceeding really rapidly in India. So I was just incredibly impressed by the amount of activity, by the forward-leaning activity I saw when I was there, by the impressive plans that so many companies have to continue growing their businesses and to drive so much of that growth by migrating to the cloud. And so much optimism in the country, and you can really see the attitudes of leaders there, and how so many Indian companies have become global leaders and are going to continue to become even more so global leaders. And you can just see that psychology. So I think it's exciting times for India's economy. I know the government's played a role in setting a lot of those wheels in motion. They're trying to build a $1 trillion digital economy by 2025, on the way to a $5 billion trillion economy over the next few years. And embracing cloud technology is critical for India to realize those ambitions.
How far has the slowdown in tech investments globally impacted cloud growth?
No doubt that it's been a crazy few years. If you go back, obviously, to the pandemic starting in 2020, and there was some very significant roller coaster rides for a lot of different companies, a lot of different industries. And then with the war in Ukraine, just a little bit over a year ago, and the economic uncertainty that drove, the changes in energy prices, the change in interest rates and inflation. It's been a very unusual time, and I think it's been an uncertain time. A lot of economic uncertainty. A lot of people have told me they've seen better times, they've seen worse times, but they've never seen more uncertain times. And I think a lot of companies have reacted to that uncertainty by saying, hey, let's just be careful, let's be measured in our spending. Let's make sure we're being really efficient in everything we do. And one of the real benefits of the cloud is the ability to react. It is the ability to both grow and shrink your infrastructure rapidly. So we've had a number of customers across a lot of different countries, different industries, who have done what I'll call belt tightening. And this is no surprise. I mean, so many companies across so many different industries have done this. Amazon itself, of course, has been doing some of that. And with that belt tightening, we have customers looking to make sure they're really making the most out of the resources they spend in the cloud. They're also, in some cases saying, hey, there's some things which maybe we'll wait a little bit and take on that project a little bit later. But the most important thing we've seen with these uncertain economic times is that it's really a reason to lean into the cloud more.
How is AWS looking at the generative AI opportunity, given that Microsoft and Google have been going all out announcing solutions in this space?
There's no doubt that generative AI is incredibly important. It's incredibly exciting. We think that it will impact in fundamental ways really almost every application that people interact with and that people see, whether that's on a B2B or a consumer basis. If you take a step back, Amazon has been working on machine learning and AI for literally decades. So if you go back to personalization on the AWS website, which was a big breakthrough in the late 90s, that's machine learning. That was artificial intelligence. It just wasn't called that at that moment in time. Our goal is to democratize generative AI by providing choice in AI models. So we announced Amazon Bedrock a few weeks ago, which is a managed service for accessing and running many different foundation models. And there'll be the models from Amazon itself. We're going to release for people to build on. They're called the Titan models, Amazon Titan models. I talked to 2 Fortune 100 enterprise CIOs about a week or two ago, who have both banned ChatGPT from their enterprise usage. What happens to the data? Where does my data go? So, we are built from day one so that your data only stays, with you.
How do you look at the data sovereignty concerns across the globe, and how does AWS expect to address these concerns?
Two things are true, which might sound contradictory, but they're not at all. But one is there's absolutely heightened interest in data sovereignty, and countries, in general, it's countries, doesn't have to be at the country level, but we'll say countries wanting to specify how data will be handled and what data should reside where, and what should stay onshore, essentially. But then a second trend, which continues unabated, is the need for worldwide cloud infrastructure.
To read the full interview, please visit economictimes.com. I'm Ramata Majumdar. Thank you for watching.